Hello, I am back. I took a couple of weeks off from making videos, which was really nice. Videos are a funny thing. They're not like the actual making them isn't stressful. It's just the thought of having to make them that's stressful. It's like switching the laundry, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I have to switch the laundry. It's so hard when I do it. It's just in the back of your head, oh, I got to go rotate the laundry type of thing. So again, I do enjoy making them. Just sometimes it's nice to be like, you know what, I'm not going to think about them for a few weeks to just have a nice little mental break. One less thing to have to worry about. This past week, my kids were on spring break and we went on vacation for a week down to my hometown, actually, Southern California. And we got to do lots of fun things and got to eat lots of really good food and have lots of rest and relaxation. And I still don't have trips that I don't acknowledge or recognize how grateful I am for full recovery. Because trips now are actually like vacations. Whereas before, trips when I was still sick were like the worst, honestly. Like I dreaded them leading up to them. I had to prepare so much for them. I've talked about how I've had in the past had to do like meal prep, and I've had to pre-make all my meals and take them in coolers, and flying was terrifying because I couldn't take my coolers in the car, and staying in hotels was terrifying because then I couldn't do my night binge because I didn't have all the food in my kitchen that I was used to having, and obviously the exercise thing, I was away from the gym and my normal routine. Let's see what other things can I think of that were different. Oh, just like a lot of traveling, right? Just where you're sitting or you're driving places and having to stay still, eating out just at random places that I didn't have my whole day planned out, and I didn't know what I was going to order if they didn't have a salad, and having to try to hide the fact that I was skipping or skimping on meals. Like everything about traveling when I was sick was so stressful. It was so stressful. We could be doing like the most fun things in the most amazing place, and my brain would be freaking out about all of these boxes I felt like I had to check. And so I guess this video is just about how grateful I am for full recovery, and why, if you're fighting for your own recovery right now, it's so worth it. I don't know what kind of day you're having in your recovery. I don't know if you're nailing it and just completely crushing it, or if you're kind of staying stagnant, or if you just completely flop today and it's just a piece of crap day. Pick yourself back up, or if you're already there, keep going, because full recovery really is so worth it. So some things that you'll want to do if you're in recovery and you have a trip coming up would be whoever you're going with, to have a conversation with them beforehand. Okay, I'm in recovery. I cannot be skipping meals. Sometimes on vacation, right? Meals get kind of wonky, or times or whatever. And not that you have to be like religious about a time, but just make sure that person you're traveling with knows how important it is that you're getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that you're always having ample food in between. That's something that's going to be really important. Number two, don't like go out of your way to exercise on vacation, but also tell that person you're going with, hey, I'm in recovery and I can't be doing a ton of active stuff. So if we can drive places, let's do that instead of walk. If we can do activities that don't require a bunch of physical exertion, and we can do other things like lay on the beach or take bus tours through towns or something, do that. Some other things would be to make sure that wherever you're staying, you have like a good supply of food. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, right? If you're in recovery, oftentimes you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, and you need to be prepared and have food on hand. So always have a good amount of things kind of, excuse me, in your hotel, or guests if you're staying at someone's house, that you can go to. Not safe foods, like actually good, solid, substantial snacks. And then also just know that when you're traveling, there's going to be a lot of like spontaneous things going on. So prepare for that now. Start adding spontaneity into your day now. So that might look like having your husband just bring home like a random dinner without you knowing what it's going to be, and you having already eaten breakfast and lunch and a bunch of other stuff throughout the day, and then he's just going to bring something home, because that's what traveling is, right? You usually aren't like, okay, we're eating at this place tonight for dinner and we're going to have that place for breakfast in the morning. There's not all that planning usually, at least when we travel, there's not. There used to be, for sure. When I was still sick, I had to know like where we're eating, what time, and everything. But now it's a little more, flexible and just kind of spontaneous. And so practice that now before you go on your trip so that you're not like all, oh my gosh, rattled when you actually go. I tell people when they're in recovery too, like if you don't have a trip planned, see if you can set something up for the near future. Don't wait until you're fully recovered. If you're kind of in a solid place as far as like you're well into your recovery and you kind of got a good flow going, you know what unrestricted eating feels like, go plan something so that you can actually experience what that freedom feels like what all that hard work that you're putting into actually feels like now, put into like real life traveling, if that's possible. I would highly recommend that. I would say in the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, even if it's a little weekend getaway, something where you can just be like, oh my gosh, recovery is so worth it. I remember doing that a few months into my recovery. It was like a road trip just for like a few nights, I remember. And it wasn't anything extravagant. Didn't even go to that exciting of a place, but it was just so fun to be able to like do a hotel, like not disordered, and have a buffet breakfast and not get up and work out and not have to pack my own lunch and eat meals. And like everything was just a first for me when I was in proper recovery. And it really helped me coming back to be like, oh my gosh, this is so worth it. Yes, I was crawling out of my skin, and yes, my body was changing, and yes, it was scary. But I had those memories to cling on to that kind of carried me throughout my recovery to remember, like, this is worth it, Becky. This is worth it. Keep going, keep going. So I highly recommend you schedule or plan something like that if you're able to. Even if it's like, Becky, I don't have all the money in the world to go travel to wherever I want. Even if it's like, go stay at your sister's house or go over to a friend's house and have a slumber party for a day or two, or go to your grandma's, I don't know, somewhere. It doesn't have to be extravagant, just out of your environment to kind of put yourself in that position where you're going to have to be more spontaneous and you know, run into new and different experiences that you haven't been in yet in your recovery. So anyways, that's my message and tips today about traveling, and also just my gratitude for full recovery and being able to actually enjoy traveling because it's fun. Obviously with kids, actually, now I think about it, with kids, it's not that relaxing. Actually, it's a little bit tiresome, but it's still so much more enjoyable than it was before. So, all right, have a good day. Bye.